For Bumba-Meu-Boi, they write new songs every year. It's like a samba school. They'll have their own songs, and usually there's a lot of their songs. They vary from being very poetic and evoking scenes of natural imagery, mythology, like we saw with Meu Tesouro, Meu Torrão. But sometimes a lot of them will use like the word like my battalion, terming the group, their group, the Bumba-Meu-Boi group, as being our, like, there's one group that's done a couple international folk festivals and they won prizes, so they say our battalion is the winner everywhere we go. You know, it's kind of, so it can vary from being kind of chants of pride and competition to just very much presenting Maranhão and their specific piece of land, their municipio, excuse me, as being a beautiful place, a place that they are proud of. But with Tambor de Crioula, there are very old songs. It's a little bit like capoeira, as you were saying. They're very old songs, but people write new ones all the time. The new, I didn't get to show, I was running out of time, so I didn't show the video at the Flávio Dino event. The singer for Boa do Oriente, he actually mentions Cultura popular a number of times in the lyrics, saying that, like, Viva the popular culture of Maranhão, this is the popular culture of Maranhão, it's never going to die. So, yeah?
You haven't shown us anything with capoeira, that's the best of all.
There is a lot of capoeira. It's not, yeah, I mean, it's a little bit different because you know, capoeira is all of Brazil. Bahia is the locus of it, but there's versions everywhere. And there actually are versions of Bumba-Meu-Boi, but Bumba-Meu-Boi is in other different states. There's a big one in Amazonia, but Bumba-Meu-Boi is to Maranhão like capoeira is to Bahia. If someone says, oh, I want to hear about Bumba-Meu-Boi, it's like, well, Maranhão, that's where you should go. And the same if I want to train capoeira, you go to Bahia, even if you can see it other places.
Are there competitions for either of these traditions?
There are competitions, but not during the Festas Juninas. Then it's just performances. There are awards that it's a little bit in some ways like the Academy Awards with like Best Actors, that like it's not always based on who's the best. It's also based on who's been around for a long time and is deserving of it. It's a university award, the UFMA, the Universidade Federal de Maranhão. They give an award. They actually also had kind of a Grammy-ish award, the radio station, that they presented Best Bumba-Meu-Boi album, Best Tambor de Crioula album, and they had performers on stage. I have some videos of that, but they weren't, you know, they were on a phone in the audience, so I decided it wasn't really worth showing. But there aren't competitions like in samba, though, if that's what you're asking. It's not like this group won this year. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, the ones that are most available would be by Petrobras. The ones that are most professionally. Of course, you know, there's tons of recordings flying around of all different groups that would be off the record, that wouldn't be funded. But usually, I think they can get someone to throw in some money if they're a big enough group. And that's, you know, like I mentioned, it's mainly the big groups that are in certain regions around the capital. And there's actually some of the NGOs I've talked to are trying to like extend that kind of support to groups outside, as well as to other types of extending opportunities to participate in this kind of like, you know, valorization of culture and paying for recording or improving living conditions to performers, to groups in the, as they say, the interior, but yeah, the ones I have are primarily the big, and some of the big ones like Boi de Morros, which is an orchestra group, you can get it on Google Play right now if anyone wants to. So there's a few like that, yeah.
Yeah, interesting. You said that it was obviously African. I wondered, in your Gambian experience, did you see anything similar to either the tambor or Bumba-Meu-Boi in Gambia?
Yeah, for those of you who don't know me like Ed does, I served in the Peace Corps in the Gambia for 2 years, and that's actually what I wrote my master's thesis about. But yeah, I mean, I saw a lot of things. I mean, circle dances are ubiquitous across West Africa, and as well as in Afro-Brazilian culture. And I definitely saw a number of groups where there were 3 drummers, one playing improvisations over to that we're playing an interlocking rhythm. But I think that's also
Spinning around, dancing like that?
not the spinning. I didn't see that. It's a lot more ground stopping in Senegambia where I was. But I mean, there's also circle dances that have similar forms. In what was Mina, which is now Benin and Togo, and Nigeria, which are all it's and that's something that I think that there has been an urge, and there is even an urge among some of these groups. I got a lot of questions from people when I said I had been in West Africa. Where do you think this is from? It was a hard question to answer because I said, well, I see clear similarities between things I saw in Africa, but this has been here for hundreds of years. I can only say, and there are some linguistic things I saw, like the state dish is ahoistikusha, which that means rice with sorrel leaf, and sorrel is a kind of herb that they eat. And the word for sorrel in Mandinka, which is the one is kucha. So it's really similar. There's an urge to say, oh, that's clearly where that came from. But of course, there's who knows. There's no one was sitting down and writing, and this is what we're going to call this at the beginning of it.
One last question. Say something about Inkaliba to people.
I can talk about, if anyone wants, I'm doing a project to bring some herbal tea from West Africa over here, and Ed's been to Gambia and he likes it. So if you want to talk to me about that, I could do that afterwards. But are there any questions? Yes. Mm-hmm. There are groups that have a couple of orchestra groups have, like, I'm blanking out of the name right now, I should have written it down, came to there was a folk festival in Florida, and they participated, and they won a prize. I don't know if it was the big prize. I didn't talk to people from that group. I just heard about it secondhand. But then if you look at, I have some compilation CDs that have a bunch of, that have, like, people just threw CDs at me. It's like, oh, you're interested in our group? Here's 5 CDs. And some of those were compilation CDs. And I think they've been to a couple other South American countries too. But that's a very small minority. It's not like capoeira groups that have been doing that since the 60s. And of course have a huge presence here now. But there's a desire to, though. Mr. Humberto and Maria were like saying, we want to go to the United States, do you know anywhere we can? It wasn't too much of a pressure situation, but it was very much you know anyone? You could hook us up, so. Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, yeah. I went a little bit past when I wanted to, but.